The Secret is this new agey load of horseshit that seems to be popular among middle-aged folks looking for some variety of unconventional spirituality, or among people who like to turn to the self-help movement to try to find ways to make more money or find a spouse or whatever. The essential gist of it is this thing called the law of attraction. This is the belief that you will encounter whatever circumstance you think about the most. If you think about getting rich, you'll get rich. If you think about getting sick, you'll get sick. Therefore, if you think about only positive things will happen to you, and you should try to push the prospect of any negative occurrence completely out of your mind. And one of the more infuriating things about The Secret is that it's one of those new agey scams that claims that its ideas are actually based in quantum physics. They think that quantum physics somehow enables your thoughts to become real. They never explain how, of course, they just say, trust us, we know what we're talking about. It's part of a trend among people like Deepak Chopra who try to assert essentially that quantum physics is magic. Or to quote Professor Farnsworth, Deepak Chopra tells us that quantum physics means that anything can happen at any time for no reason. But the most infuriating thing about The Secret is that it makes people avoid dealing with problems by telling them that they shouldn't even think about them. And that if you have a problem, it's your fault, you brought it on yourself by thinking about it. Now that being said, this thing wouldn't have gotten as big as it is if it didn't work to some degree. But of course it doesn't work the way they think it works. It has absolutely nothing to do with quantum physics. It is purely psychological. It is entirely a placebo effect. Some people worry about things in a way that discourages them from being productive because they're afraid of failure. They psych themselves out, and telling people to put the prospect of failure completely out of their minds probably does help some people overcome that problem. But it also makes people less likely to take steps to avoid simple mistakes. And it makes people less likely to prepare for possible unfortunate circumstances because it tells them not to think about possible unfortunate circumstances at all, which I think ends up hurting people in the long run. It's like those parents who killed 2 of their kids because they wouldn't take them to a doctor because they'd rather pray their illnesses away. I wouldn't be surprised if there were people who listened to The Secret and then got the idea in their heads that they shouldn't go to a doctor if they get sick because that will make them think about their illness more and make them even sicker. Here's some better advice. If you're afraid of failure, don't put the idea of failure completely out of your mind. Take steps to avoid it. Prepare for possible setbacks. And make a commitment to whatever it is you're doing so if you do fail, you can accept the fact that you failed and try again. Don't trick yourself into thinking that bad things won't happen if you just don't think about them. That is not a strategy that will serve you well in the long run.